As a real estate agent, you are no stranger to the challenges of guiding sellers through complex decisions, especially in the current market. But right now, it's not just about the high interest rates or the typical summer slowdown. It's about the growing number of sellers who are increasingly delisting their homes rather than adjusting their expectations or their price. Here's the truth though. If you don't have the right language and strategies in place to help the sellers, you are not going to get those listings back. So here is what is exactly happening and what you can do to stop it. Hey, it's Mark here with the Hiller Group, and I help agents win in any market. I help them grow their business, so reach out to me if there's anything I can do to help you grow your business. Look, the landscape is changing. Sellers are a little bit scared right now. We're seeing a significant increase in delistings and the rising inventory. This is signaling a fundamental shift in the market. This summer, according to Realtor.com, delistings shot up 47% year over year. Frustrated sellers are pulling their homes off the market because they aren't getting the offers that they expected or the price that they want. At the same time, a huge gap exists between what sellers expect and what's actually happened. Reality and seller expectations are not aligning. A staggering 72% of future sellers still believe they will get offers above asking, even though only 42% of the recent sellers were able to do so in the current market. In other words, there is a disconnect between what sellers are hoping for and what the reality of the market is offering. So, how do we as agents bridge this gap? How do we manage the difficult conversations about pricing when sellers are emotionally and financially tied to their own unrealistic expectation? In times like these, sellers can be highly emotional and resistant to price adjustments. That's where the right approach matters more than ever. You can't argue your way through the conversation, and if you try, you will most likely get fired and lose that listing. Instead, your job is to guide them through this process using a set of specific strategies and language. You need to use the data. It needs to be your guide to guide you through these times with your sellers. The key is to ask better questions and use real-time market data to reframe their expectations without making them feel like they have failed or that the market has failed them. This isn't about pushing them to lower their expectations immediately. Instead, it's about leading with curiosity and giving them the space to recognize the reality of the current market themselves. Let's break down a few strategies and scripts that work great in this current environment. To help sellers understand their position, you first need to present them with the hard facts of the market. The summer housing report from Realtor.com reveals some telling data points. First up, active inventory has surpassed 1 million listings. This is up 29% year over year, marking the highest level of post-pandemic listings. Next, homes are sitting on the market longer. The median days on market now is 53 days, which is 5 days longer than last year and is moving back to pre-pandemic norms. You want to hear something nuts? Our median days on market is over 90 days in my area, so we are well versed in what's going on in this current market. The surge in delistings has made up 4.1% of the active listings, with markets like Phoenix and Miami showing visible symptoms of seller fatigue. More sellers are choosing to walk away rather than accepting lower offers or adjusting their expectations. Despite these signs, median list price hasn't changed much. Sellers are still holding firm on price, but so are the buyers, which is creating a tense standoff. Nearly 21% of active listings had to undergo price reductions in June. The market is slow and tough, and we need to make sure that sellers understand this before they get too emotionally invested in their asking price. It's our job to tell them this on the front end. If you're not having these open lines of communication on your listing appointment, you're really missing out because you're gonna be challenged later on. The secret to managing these conversations is effectively talking about the strategic questions and reframe the discussion around the timing and flexibility. Here are some key questions to use with your sellers. What price are you willing to wait for? This question is crucial in helping sellers understand whether their expectations are based on need, hope, or something else. It encourages them to take a step back and reconsider their position without feeling judged. Next, if we can't get your price, what is your backup plan? This simple question helps you identify the seller's true motivation. It also gives you the opportunity to suggest alternative pricing strategies without seeming too forceful. It also shows you their true motivation, which is really what you need to get to in this current market. If they're telling you they want to test the market, right now is not the time to do that. When a seller pushes back on pricing, acknowledge their concerns and provide a fresh perspective. For example, you might say something like, "You're not going down, you're changing the narrative and giving your home a second shot at a first impression. You're catching up to the buyers who ran away from your property." This type of reframing helps sellers feel like they're not failing. Instead, they're simply adjusting their strategy for a better outcome. And that's what we all want. We all want a winning outcome for our clients. To further guide sellers, you can recommend 3 different pricing models during your listing appointment to help them understand which one is going to meet their expectations. Each model helps set clear expectations from the start, giving the sellers a better understanding of the pros and cons of their pricing approach. First up is aspirational pricing. This is used when no comps exist. It's a strategy to test the market and aim for the specific buyer, but it's risky, especially if there is no strong demand for that type of property. Next up is comp-based pricing. This approach is based on recent sales and is often what the banks and appraisers rely on. It's grounded in reality, and it can feel conservative to the sellers who remember the heated market of 2021. Next up, event-like pricing. This lists the home below comps to attract more buyers and create urgency. It's ideal for sellers who want to speed up the process and maximize their exposure. So if your seller pushes for a higher list price, you need to be ethically transparent. Try saying something like, "I could have bought your listing at the first meeting and said yes to your $760,000 price, but I consider that ethically irresponsible. I want you in a strong position without needing a price drop later." This honesty builds trust and positions you as the agent who has their best interest at heart. In a market like this, where sellers are emotionally invested, agents must keep their composure, stay calm, and focus on clear, honest communication. Setting expectations early and over-communicating throughout the process is the crucial step to getting to the closing table. Sellers today are holding on to high expectations, expecting offers above asking price, and failing to see the reality of the cooling market. But as an agent, you don't have to argue. Instead, focus on education. Reframe the narrative and ask the right questions that help the seller find their own way forward. By using the right scripts, presenting accurate data, and being an empathetic guide, you can help sellers come to terms with a market that's far different from the one they hoped for. And in doing so, you'll not only win listings, you'll earn trust and build long-term relationships that will pay off for years to come. Hope you found this video useful. Hit the like and subscribe button down below, and we'll see you on the next one.